potentially this one. We'll go with this one, Deep Treasures. So yeah, thank you very much for that recommendation. Retrieving the sunken treasure. Oh, I also like the music for the game, by the way. The music is really good. Retrieving the sunken treasures is difficult and dangerous. One of our ships was already lost in an accident, and many sailors drowned. With summer ending soon and the storm season coming, the sailors are afraid to remain on the open ocean any longer. Do we abandon the retrieval of sunken ships in the ocean? There's a lot of nay. Well, I'm gonna need to vote aye, because that's the only way I can really keep myself in the middle here within my yellow area to get the most crowns. The order to leave reaches our fleet just as a huge hurricane starts looming on the horizon. While pulling up anchor, the sailors on our flagship discover a strange book floating near the hull, curiously impervious to water. One final treasure, but many were left behind. The Book of Choices. So this is what's going to lead us to the final thing. So I'll read this out just in case it is different. The book has an image of a large branch tree on the cover. It is unnaturally sturdy, but otherwise quite mundane. The scholars expected it to be written in a strange unknown language, but surprisingly, it is written in our own. The Book of Choices, as it is called, exerts a strange fascination, and few can resist the urge to open it. But those who read it start talking incoherently or fall into a deep slumber from which they never wake. Some say the truths contained in the book are so disconcerting that readers lose their grip on reality. The unsettling tome is soon locked away in a secret hull of the Royal Library, where no one will open it. Damn, the king lived. I didn't want the king to live. Okay, so I can't save the game myself. So I'm almost wondering, because you also get a choice near the end of the game, which might actually be how you curse the king. Or how you curse the royal family. Which might be part of a narrative goal, but I also kind of want to change it up and not do that. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what I'm going to want to do. Book of Choices. So let's lower our influence. The famed scholar Halden, one of the most ardent students of the Book of Choices, has lost his mind. We're all trapped in this world, he constantly shouts. Death is the only exit, but even that is up for others to decide. His ramblings are causing quite a commotion. Do we execute Halden, the student of the cursed Book of Choices? Nay is the one that would get me where I need to be. I'm gonna need to pay off this guy. So I'll pay him off with my 4 coins, but it only cost me 4 for some reason. And we'll vote nay. Which is different to what we did before, so it's good too. We decided to show poor Halden some mercy. He used to be one of the... Oh no, did I do this before? He used to be one of the sharpest minds in the realm after all. Yet still believing death to be the only exit, Halden takes his own life soon after. He had a choice after all. After his death, Halden's theory spread. Many gullible people, uncomfortable with their existence, decided to exit this world the same way he did. They killed themselves. Now let's hope the king dies. Whoa. Excuse me. I guess I could have had the king abdicate. I guess I could have forced that. Should be fine either way. King is dead, and I got decent stuff. I didn't get as many white crowns as I wanted, but that's okay. Opulent. I'm gonna want to go the opulent route. I don't know what I want to build. So I can only do... So maybe I'll do these two. Because we're nearing the end of the game anyway. So if I do these two, then that's at least something. Maybe I should have done this one. Or this one. Maybe there's a few things I should have done, to be honest, but it's fine. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We're good. These guys are not on the council anymore, but I'd prefer them to be. Huh, you know, I didn't actually get that much money. I kind of want to remove these guys from the council, or these guys. I'll remove these guys from the council. It's going to cost me a lot of my money, but I think it'll be worth it to get these guys back on. So I'm going to try to shove everything at the top and then maybe have the king abdicate. Perhaps. After studying the Book of Choices for some time, a group of scholars starts questioning the principles of non-contradiction. They're disrupting the academic activities of their peers, arguing with everyone and challenging a common sense wisdom in every field. Do we allow the Book of Choices scholars to continue meeting? Well, nay is the correct way to go for me, because that's just kind of the only way. So, we'll say nay. The Royal Marshal sends her guards to beat some common sense into the crazy heads of the deranged scholars, giving them concrete and indisputable proof that they cannot be hurt, and will at the same time. Their mad theories shall not poison our practical sciences. Eternal Queen. A court page named Timotheus claims that he was contracted by a man wearing a mask, bearing a black circle, who offered him money to pour poison into the food of Queen Celestina and the princess. Timotheus says that he refused and immediately ran to warn us. The page seems quite alarmed, but the Royal Marshal thinks his tale sounds outlandish. Do we increase security measures in the Royal Palace? These do nothing for me. These do nothing for me either way. So I'm gonna vote nay. Or aye. I'm gonna vote aye. We give orders to step up guard duties. A few nights later, the masked man is captured while attempting to sneak into the palace, but he poisoned himself before they could interrogate him. Despite this, a royal banquet is held to celebrate the danger we escaped that night. All the goblets of the court are raised for Timotheus, the heroic page. After spending months studying the uncanny designs of the sunken Salon ships, our scholars make a sensational discovery. Their unusual triangular sails allowed these ancient vessels to sail against the wind. Oh, wow, really? Do we keep the Salon ship's design a military secret? Nay, we do not. Nay. We shared the revolutionary sail design with the whole kingdom. Our merchant fleet is now able to trade over greater distances, opening up new trade routes. Even the poor benefit from more agile fishing boats. Thanks to the new triangular sails we copied from the wrecks of Salon ships, our merchant ships can now reach their destinations faster, regardless of wind conditions. That's not too bad. At least we're getting 2 white crowns, I guess. But now I think we're entering the end game with this, so it's not really gonna matter. The king declares that the Book of Choices is too dangerous to be kept locked in the library, where no one can read it. Such a hazardous item should always be kept at hand, where an eye can be kept on it. Do we move the Book of Choices from the library to the council room? So I said aye to this before, and I think it did corrupt the king, which in theory is kind of what I want. I want to curse the king because that's my narrative goal. But I'm gonna say nay, just to see what difference happens. So I'm doing this for you. I'm not doing it for my house. The Book of Choices is kept away from us. How rude. Led by the king himself, we rush to the library to read its contents, but there is no meaning to be understood. Only a kaleidoscope of ever-changing words that blurs your mind. So I guess maybe this doesn't actually matter. As we read, we and the king slowly slip into a deep slumber. We slowly awaken in a strange, dreamy palace. The king enters a door on the floor and we follow him. Rooms repeat endlessly with little variation, as if designed by a frugal architect, and we easily get lost. Weird objects hang from the ceiling of each room, and perplexing symbols are marked on each door. Once we go through a door, it locks behind us, making it impossible to go back. We can only move forward. So we continue onwards in the labyrinth. The last sentence we remember from the Book of Choices threateningly echoes in our minds. There are 2 exits from this labyrinth. When you choose your path, remember, madness breeds contradictions, yet sane minds look for consistency. Choose a door. So I'm gonna go down the same path I did before and just see if it leads me to the same thing, which I believe was this. 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 Yeah, so I guess that's how you do it. I'm not really too sure how this works, but I guess that's how you make it to the end. Then you have the Jester King. We hear the king muttering, "When the glass is shattered, what do the splinters reflect?" The king's mind has been broken by a truth too horrible to contemplate. His contradictory beliefs sometimes keenly reflect an incoherence in the very nature of reality, but most of the time he is just plainly mad, and that becomes his new moniker among those who know of this secret. The Mad King jealously guards the Book of Choices in his chambers, feverishly reading it to himself and to all his heirs. This lingering madness will continue to curse the royal family for decades to come. So I'm guessing there is a way to not have the king be cursed. If that's part of my narrative. Yeah, so there must be a way to not have that happen. See, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. So there has to be another way to go about either the labyrinth or a way to play the game. There has to be something else there. So, because you can't always have the king be cursed if it's a narrative goal. I don't think, right? Right? I don't think that would be the case, would it? The king interrupts the council. The shadows of the rising sun are coming for us. The end that will start it all again is near. You must listen to me. Do we listen to the king? And here it doesn't really matter. So we'll say I. The king talks our ears off with his delirious talk more than an hour. When he's done, the Mad King leaves the room, singing an eerie tune. Comb the belly, comb its hair. Will you live and leave an heir? Rip the fur off, be a man. All will die and one will stand. Life is no more complicated than the boar's belly, is it? One day you comb its fur, the next day it will wash its tusks in your blood. The ungrateful beast. We often get a choice and you will get one. Oh yes, you will. And I tell you, you'll get the best choice, because whatever you choose, the outcome will be the same. Some will live and some will die. I tell you. Of course, of course. Those who live and those who die will be different, but let's not be quibblers, shall we? Point is, it will be fun and sad, with all the deaths and stuff, but mostly fun. The king was murdered. His attendants found him strangled in his bed with a stylized sun branded on his forehead. There must be a traitor at court, and it is highly probable that it is one of the council members. Every counselor just received a letter from the Black Dawn. We are the shadow that nurtures the new light. We are the Black Dawn. A new sun is rising, and your house risks being extinguished. When the old sun dies, we offer you the chance to survive the coming storm and escape extinction. Tomorrow, the restless and the forgotten will act together under our guidance. They will tear this kingdom apart so that it can be reset, renewed, and restarted. Join us and be the torchbearer of the new light. So I'm gonna go for the traitorous faction this time. Number one, because there's more of them. And number two, I guess some of them are just straight up loyal to me, interestingly enough. So I will join the Black Dawn and we will assault the realms. A silent tide has been slowly rising. Imperceptibly. Yes, there you go. Suffocating our civilization. The Black Dawn has been building a network of contacts and informers since even before the rise of the Kingdom of Ankist. Over the years, it has taken root in our society, enlisting many representatives of our nobility, army, common people, and even members of the court among its ranks. Many were convinced by the Black Dawn's suave promises. Some joined the conspiracy for glory, some for gain, some even for conviction, willing to extinguish this age and bring about a new light. Many people joined them, rich and poor, priestesses and merchants, guards and soldiers. Even some of the great houses, blinded by their pride, pledged their service to the Black Dawn. The council is confronted with a complete breakdown of the kingdom's infrastructure. The usual flux of communication is interrupted. We stop receiving reports, and our orders can't be transmitted. The sinews of the kingdom are effectively severed, and the council is blinded from what is going on outside Libra. Inside the capital, hordes of people, the sleeper agents of the Black Dawn, flood the streets to steal, rape, kill, and burn whomever they please. The violent incidents are too many and too dire to recount, as many act out of their most repressed feral instincts. The guards struggle to contain them as the most competent officers are either dead, missing, or among the ranks of the traitors. Only a conjoined effort by the loyal houses and their guard could stem the tide in the kingdom's favor and restore order. The final battle that will decide the fate of Ankist has begun, and I am on the traitorous side this time. So, see, the things you build during the game for the, what they call them, the preparations, are related to this. Now, I do have some that are different this time, which is nice. And as I discovered last time, if you lose this, you can just continue and kind of cheat your way to victory by simply just picking the answers that you know are correct after. So even if I lose, this is not really a big deal. I'll just need to do it again. And I might even do it again to see the opposite side regardless. So Nerves of Steel. The loyalist troops reunited in the courtyard in front of the High Commander, are visibly nervous due to the imminent attacks. Moreover, the generals are concerned that fake news could start spreading through the troops. Shall we create chaos? So I don't know what this would do for me on this side, because I don't remember what happens if what I do on the loyalist side. I'm gonna say aye. After successfully infiltrating the defense forces, we spread the news that 20,000 Enkali are marching towards Libra. In little to no time, a large part of the troop fell prey to uncertainty and doubt. This agitation will surely hinder their performance. Okay, we're doing good. Royal treasure. So I built this. I didn't build this before. There's turmoil inside the castle. The loyalist high commander struggles to calm the people down. Despite the safety measures, this is a golden opportunity to sneak inside the royal treasure room. Should we attempt to steal the royal treasure? I think so. We don't really need to, but we may as well. Taking advantage of the turmoil inside the castle, we send a small team to the treasure room. After taking everything that shines and that is pocketable, our men set the room on fire. Nobody will set foot in this room ever again. I'm a much better traitor than I was a loyalist. Several trade guilds, worried about the impact of the rebellion on their businesses, have set up a safe trading route with the help of the Loyalist army, which ensures that merchants can conduct their business safely. This could mean a constant resupply of primary goods. However, as a result, the defense in Libra are weaker. Should we disrupt the safe trade route? I don't think so. I think we focus all our efforts on messing with the city, right? So, nay. After careful consideration, we decide it's best to leave things as they are, as this whole situation could play in our favor. Having fewer soldiers in Libra makes it easier to move people around and organize attacks. Yeah, I'm a much better trader. So, one thing I like about this is just the opposite of what we had when we were the Loyalists. We're just seeing it from the opposite side. Because a lot of these, well, some of them are the same. But the difference is, I'm doing it from the other side now. Because I had that before as a Loyalist, and it was like, okay, yeah, I'll send troops over to protect the caravan or whatever. And that may have been a bad move, because I think more traders sprung up from that, I think. So it's kind of neat to see it from the opposite side. Message to Kasuk. Our informants tell us that the Royal Guard has strengthened their defensive forces with thousands of mercenaries. We could disguise a messenger as a merchant and ask Kasuk to lend us some of their Inkali mercenaries, even if it is a desperate call for help. Do we send a merchant to Kasuk? Aye, because I think this fucked me over in the Loyalist game. The Merchants Guild of Kasuk holds great power in its empire, and they still hold to heart how Ankist handled the incident with Isadora. Our request is kindly denied after a few days, we receive a box containing a finger wearing a ring. A black circle is engraved on it. So maybe because I messed with Isadora in this timeline, maybe they're just a bit more unwilling. So see, it can change, just like in subtle ways. Some soldiers are contracting a strange disease. Large blisters appear on their limbs, and most of them die shortly after. Most doctors recommend we quarantine the infected, but the Black Dawn has another plan. Do we use them to infect the enemy? I believe so. We're all about chemical warfare. I guess this is still considered. During nighttime, infected soldiers are loaded in a carriage and dumped like garbage near the largest enemy camp. The despair and agony on the faces of the men we sacrifice will haunt us for the rest of our lives. On top of that, the disease will now spread uncontrollably, even among our ranks. Okay, well, we made a bit of a mistake there. Greed of Wylio. In preparation for the upcoming battles, the counselor reminds us of the necessity to hire mercenaries, as we can't rely on a regular army. We need gold. An alchemist from Wylio suggests using wounded soldiers as our main source. Do we sacrifice the wounded soldiers? I mean, this will give us gold, so I'll say aye to this, even if it is awful to do. Oh yeah, we can also extract gold from blood, because we can do that with alchemy, I guess. With heavy heart, we deliver the unrecoverable soldiers to the alchemist, and the transmutation begins. Days later, all the blood money pays off as venture companies and mercenaries join our ranks. Okay, we got 20 out of that. This one I think I remember from the Loyalist. Oh no, never mind. Some miners reportedly found a map of all the tunnels dug below the royal capital. At first look, it seems like a rough sketch. It's full of lines of different colors and thickness, but the scholars think it could be the key to finding secret passages. We study the paper. I think this is similar, but it's probably just a child's drawing, so I'm gonna say nay. After briefly looking at it, we decided it's best to ignore the matter and avoid wasting time on deciphering an alleged map of underground tunnels. It could take weeks, even months to understand if this paper is actually worth something. Okay, that's a good phase one. That was a good phase one. Fire in the southeast tower. Our scouts discovered that the southeast tower is an old structure with a frame mostly made out of wood. There's a chance to start a fire, but the strong wind could be a problem. Do we torch the tower? Aye. A small breach in the tower reveals the wooden frame. All it takes is one torch and the whole thing catches fire. The flames quickly engulf the entire tower. It will take a significant amount of water to extinguish the flames. And battle at the gates. We are attacking Libra's front gates. A troop is maneuvering the battering ram within the enemy's range. There are enough men to support it, but we could use some of them to gather more units and launch a surprise attack. Use the battering ram as bait and split the unit? Yeah, I think so, because if they attack the battering ram... Yeah, we'll split the unit. The support unit is sent to gather soldiers around the battlefield. The result is a massive troop that will breach the front gates. The sacrifice of the battering ram unit won't be forgotten by the Black Dawn. Man, that feel when I'm a much better trader. I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest. Our strategist recommended sending a messenger to the Inkal camp just outside the walls to inform them about a hypothetical conspiracy between Sidlata and Libra's loyalists against the Inkali population. They are renowned as fearsome and proud warriors, so we have to be careful to choose who we send and how we do it. Do we equip the negotiating unit with extra red iron protections? I will say nay on this. We decide on a simple and direct approach. A single messenger sets out for the camp, dressed in normal attire. The Inkali general is pleased by our audacity and earnestness. They will help us against the loyalist forces, but in return they ask for a big part of the loot, and we have no other choice but to agree. We are starting to climb the walls. We have an innovative device called the ladder tunnel that allows us to climb walls while being protected in every direction. An alarm suddenly echoes in the night. The enemy is starting to pour hot liquids from maculations on the wall, which I think I built, funnily enough. Do we keep climbing? I don't know on this one, actually. This one could go really either way, because we had barrels before. Now we have liquids. I mean, it's liquids, so nay. Too dangerous. Our men quickly climb down the tunnel ladder and dismantle it. Instead, we switch to traditional ladders. We have large quantities, and the enemy will struggle to deal with all of them at the same time. I don't know why I'm so much better at being a trader. I hope this doesn't say anything about me personally. Enemy soldiers on the wall are throwing rocks and arrows down into the ditch. Thankfully, our shields offer enough protection against these attacks. Just when we are ready to activate the advanced machine ladders, a unit stationed near the gate reports that there are fewer enemies than expected there. Should we focus on the gate instead? I mean, how would we get through it? I think this is a bait, so I'm gonna say nay. The mobile crossing bridge machines are our chance. It takes a lot of manpower to activate them, but once it's done, their wooden arms extend far enough to overcome the ditch and allow our men to reach the walls. A council of war has been declared. Our spy inside the castle claims to have seen a protected room in the northeast tower, where the Chamberlain and Royal Marshal and the Vice Commander usually meet. The Chamberlain seems to be the most vulnerable, but he is oddly wearing reinforced mail. Do we target the Chamberlain? I'm gonna say yes. Thanks to the detailed information, the assassin manages to get inside the room easily. After crippling the guards, he jumps and strikes the Chamberlain's chest with his dagger, and the blade bounces off the red iron mail underneath. As the assassin acknowledges his failure, the Royal Marshal grabs the intruder and cuts him down with his sword. That's okay. We're 100 up. We're fine. Enemy archers forced us to take cover behind the ruins of a building not far from the beacon tower. The general wants to rush the tower before the enemy activates it, but we would be exposed to arrows of the enemy. Do we wait until the enemy stops shooting arrows? I mean, on one hand, yeah, it's kind of smart, but it's like, what if they don't run out? So I'm gonna say nay. We must destroy the tower. Led by the general, our troop launches a frontal attack. Some of our men do not even have shields to protect themselves from the arrows that keep coming down from the sky. The enemy didn't expect such a reckless attack, so we managed to reach the tower before they do, even though it cost us many lives. After torching the tower, we retreat near the destroyed building. Now the enemy won't be able to call for help. Phase 3, the smoke phase. The castle's library holds many secrets of the kingdom, which can be sold at a high price. The library is fairly isolated and difficult to approach without raising suspicion, but a sneak attack could work. Do we send an assassin to climb the tower? Nay. We decide it's better to use our full force. A group of soldiers makes its way to the library, but before they can reach the tower, they're faced by the royal guard. The few who survive eventually reach the library, but are welcomed by the librarian chancellor's personal guard. Nobody survives that. That's okay, we still have a lot of points on them. Oh, whoops. Do we loot the officers? Okay, hold on. I was kind of messing around. So I was clicking, and you can't see it, but my mouse cursor kind of like, it shrinks, and it kind of like ejects the smaller cursor out of it. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of neat though. Our scouts have noticed that the enemy has started to retrieve the bodies of their officers from the battlefield outside the castle. It seems they are using the embroidered names on the uniforms to recognize the officers. Do we loot the officers? Aye, we loot them good. It seems that the officers of Ankis were well paid. There's quite a lot of gold that we distribute to the soldiers, raising their morale. Doctors of Alwyn from the Great Hospital offer us a group of loyalist subjects that seem to be in a catatonic state and respond to any order given to them. The Black Dawn demands to use them as mules, but the doctors suggest filling their stomachs with onyx powder. Do we use them as a suicidal unit? Yeah, I think so. After days of trying, the physicians succeed in inserting onyx powder, aka gunpowder, inside each of their subjects and carefully whisper twisted words into the ears of the suicidal unit. We deploy these walking bombs in front of the capital. We'll hear from them soon. Hey, Dualac, that's me. Even if famous for their self-concern, Dualac offers all their soldiers to the cause. Their hate of the king's bloodline makes them unstoppable against the loyalists. They express a preference to join the attack on the royal apartment. They seem to be moved by something. Yeah, we do it. Soldiers from Dualac are deployed at the head of the army, and it pays off. During the battle, they managed to kill and wound loads of loyalist soldiers. Strangely, they got inside the royal apartment while the fighting was still going on, and stole a cube-shaped object placed near the king's bed. I still don't know what that is. There's so many mysteries to this game still. During the assault on the castle, a rational general from Kodan proposes targeting the tabernacle of the mother. She's sure that if it is taken down, the foe's morale will be greatly reduced. Shall we destroy the tabernacle? Aye. Glad to hear our response. The general takes command of a troop from her Marquisate and disfigures the statue of Rhea. A soldier even cuts off her arms. What remains of the statue is a sun-engraved mask on the face and some writing. The cult is a lie. It's so much easier being a traitor. Good God. Scholars from Gamam affirm that, during the stay of Celestina, they came to know a part of the immortality ritual called the infection. This fishy process will take control of a hollow puppet that doesn't feel pain or hunger. All they need is 8 young women, and there is no shortage of them in Libra. Do we refuse to kidnap the young woman? Do we refuse? Nay, we're evil. Thanks to the chaos in Libra, the unit is able to slip in unnoticed and retrieve the young woman. When the screams of pain coming from the lab finally stop, we found a pile of dead scholars piled up, and a hollow maiden snapping the neck of the only survivor. As he falls to the floor, life fades out of the hollow being. Oh, okay. The battle is over. Traitors won the battle. Go, traitors! Let's go! The sun must set before rising again. The king's death was only the first part of the attack. The king's treasury was broken into and split among many profiteering rebels. stealing all the gold they could carry with them and removing the precious stones from what was too heavy to move. All the libraries of the kingdom were burned, including the royal library. All of Hysador's research notes were lost, as well as the innumerable natural and technological discoveries made by our scholars throughout history. All the chronicles of the realm are also lost to the fire, making it difficult for future historians to trace the ascending parabola of the kingdom of Ankist and assess the cause of its abrupt collapse. So we just did basically what's happened throughout history with all the other great empires. It is rumored that only the book... Oh, and they all had the Book of Choices. So you can piece this together. So every previous empire fell to the Black Dawn because of the Book of Choices. So this is just how history repeats. So when we're on the loyalist side and we stop it, that's us literally stopping the cycle, I guess. It is rumored that only the Book of Choices survived the fires, and it was carried away by masked members of the Black Dawn. The loyalists are too few, too weak, and too divided to stem the tide of chaos. Some of the grand houses courageously try. Yet even those committed to put up a joint resistance are torn apart from the inside, divided by treachery among their own ranks while trying to face an unmatchable force. The many Black Dawn infiltrators bring down the loyal houses one by one, assassinating their key members and leaving the rest unable to organize their resistance to match the widespread chaos. Through the destruction of the political center of Ankist, the kingdom collapses into a vast sea of fragmented territories, vying against each other for political supremacy. The Black Dawn succeeded in its task. A new dark age awaits. Your house prevailed among the betrayers and came to be known as the Reforgers. History will remember your dynasty as the rebuilders of civilization, forgetting that the status was achieved through betrayal and destruction. Hey Chaos, thank you very much for the raid. How's your stream going? How was your stream? Did you have fun? And welcome to all raiders. We're playing a little game called, which might be a bit too loud at the moment. I'm not really too sure. If you can still hear me good enough, then ignore it, perfectly fine. Playing a game called The King's Dilemma. Just finished a second run through of it. It's a really fun game, highly recommended. It's like 20 bucks on Steam. You can get a good few playthroughs out of it, and the story is really interesting. It's really interesting. A lot of reading involved. It's a very reading heavy game, but I'd say it's well worth it. I'd say for at least a few playthroughs. History will remember your dynasty as the rebuilders of civilization, forgetting that the status was achieved through betrayal and destruction. Hey, it me, possibly. Some say it was a member of your house who dealt the killing blow to the king and stole his crown. Yet these are just whispers among educated historians, erased from the official chronicles. You wait for the chaos. Well, chaos is here now. And blood to cool down before reclaiming the ruins of Libra, slowly restoring a semblance of order and tranquility to the exhausted survivors. After the collapse of the kingdom, you have no enemy left to curse your name, and history will celebrate the new rule of the Reforgers. Thanks for playing, and now we go through the credits. So let me go ahead and give a shout out to Chaos here, because Chaos is super great, and everybody should definitely go and follow them. Let's see, Chaos says it was fun. We were playing Zero Escape and we managed to get an ending after ages of poking the game. Man, when I eventually get around to Zero Escape, that's gonna be really fun to play, but it's gonna be a pain in the ass because I know I'm gonna want to get all the endings. Well, I'm glad you had fun. I'm really glad to hear you had fun. But yeah, everybody please go follow Chaos. Really, really good slime. Literally a good slime. And after playing a lot of Slime Rancher a long time ago, I've come to really like slimes. So yeah, there you go. I'm a slime enjoyer. Yeah, this game's really fun. Highly recommended. I will probably play through, just get the bad ending for the traders, because apparently I got the good ending for the traders in my first try. So we'll do that once the credits are done. But I figure it's a good time to talk, right? A good talk, maybe talk about upcoming plans for the game, Or for the stream, I should say. I shall be lurking, but have a good stream, mate. Thank you very much, Chaos. You yourself have a good rest. Take a well-earned rest, a well-earned break, and I will catch you later, friendo. So yeah, plan for future streams. So on Wednesday, honestly, I might even be tempted to stream on the weekend. I think I'm gonna be pretty busy on the weekend, though. I think I gonna be going out and doing some stuff. So gonna be rather busy. Probably gonna be recording some Persona this weekend as well. So keep an eye on the YouTube channel for that. And you know what? While I'm here and I can whore out my YouTube channel a little bit, because I may as well promote it and beef it up, right? Talk it up. I've been releasing a lot of demos on the YouTube channel, a lot of demo playthroughs. Highly recommend going and watching them, not just because I think they're pretty okay, but you know, it's kind of fun to see some demos from Steam Next Fest, see what maybe you might enjoy, right? I did play a fair few. Tried a fair few different types, which were fun. There's a few more that I still want to do that I think I can do, because I don't think they're taken off of Steam yet, which will be fun. But yeah, besides the recorded stuff, on Wednesday, we're going to be going back to Resident Evil. We're going to be starting up Resident Evil 0, which I'm looking forward to playing, because I haven't played 0 in such a long time. On our quest to get the streams caught up for Resident Evil 4, the remake, because I'm really looking forward to that. Gonna go pre-order that this weekend, actually. I'm excited. I'm excited. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. But I'll probably just hyper-focus through Resident Evil for the rest of the streams, unless I either start getting worn out, burnt out even from them, or something like that. If I start getting burnt out, I'll probably switch it up and do something small. But I think I can power through, right? Do RE0, play through the Outbreak games, then play through 4. Once I finish up 4, pretty much anything after that is kind of like an added bonus, right? But I'm so looking forward to that. Yeah, so as you can see, we've done 2 of these to the end. Solved more dilemmas as Alwood, but not really that much more. You know, honestly, things were roughly the same, weirdly enough. We solved more dilemmas as Alwood, but the preparations and elapsed reigns weren't really that different. I thought we had a lot less reigns here and a lot less completed preparations, but I guess we had roughly the same amount. Well, that's pretty interesting. So we'll play through. Wait, why do they both have the same date? Wait, why do they both have the same date? That's a little bit strange. That's a little bit spooky. I don't know how I feel about that. Oh, but I'm so excited. I'm so excited to play through 0 and to play through Outbreak File 1, File 2. Ah, it's gonna be so nice. It's gonna be so super nice. Give me 1 second, and then I will start up on the thing here. So, just for anybody that came in through Chaos' stream, let me explain the game a little bit before I go and I restart the final thing there to get the bad ending for the traders, right? Oh, whoop. No, I didn't mean to skip the intro, actually. I didn't mean to skip that. That was kind of my B. Yeah, so we're just going to skip through this. So basically, there's this kingdom, and you are not the king of the kingdom. You are merely a house within that kingdom. So you're one of the noble families, and you are on the council for the king. You got to help the king make decisions, along with the other council members. Now, you can vote yes or no to anything that gets brought up in the game. And the more houses that say nay, say you want to say yes, but the majority of the houses say no, you have this thing called power which you can utilize to kind of subvert their vote and have your vote go through. I'm just saying nay to all this. I guess it's kind of weird. It still give me the same 2 that I had before. Maybe it doesn't really matter. But yeah, you can say yes or no. You can push in your choice no matter what it is if you have enough power. But once you run out of power, you can't use that resource anymore, of course. And I think the king will automatically abdicate, which could be good or bad, depending on what you're trying to do. Each house that you can pick, there's a lot more, but we'll actually go back to the main menu here. Just so I can show off how many there are. Once I do this, I can just skip the intro. Come on. There you go. So you have all these houses here. Each house has a history, which you can read. And each house has an overall goal that they want to try to achieve. So as an example here, Allwed, they're very progressive with what they want to do. So they want to bring the people together. They want a nice harmonious society, that sort of thing. Then you have the people here in Cran who are very warlike, and they want to conquer a nation. They want to actively take over another nation. Then you have the guys who I just played as, the Dual Axe. They absolutely hate the monarchy. They hate the king. They feel like they've been, for centuries, they've been not respected like they should be. So they want to curse the king. So each one of these nations has a narrative goal, which, as I was describing before Chaos came in, actually, that it kind of helps if you want to role play the nation, which I think is more fun. Like I kind of role played how I felt like Allwed would play, right? I didn't do that as much with Duelat because I wanted to see how it felt playing it more like a video game. But with Allwed, I really enjoyed that kind of aspect of it. It was really neat. And they all have secondary objectives. It's neat. I don't think they really matter, to be honest. I don't think they really do anything negative or good if you do it, but it's an option. It allows you to kind of get really into the mind of the house you're playing as. So let's just skip through this so I can show off a bit of the game itself. Now you get a lot of dialogue, you get a cool image most of the time, and you can look through these as often as you please, because you can always go back and just read through the encyclopedia, the archives, etc. So here on the right side here, you have your resources, your crowns. When a king abdicates or dies, you can choose what kind of king they will be. And through that, it'll kind of tell you how you want to balance your resources. Now in here, you want to put them at the top or at the bottom, but not in the middle. If you have some in the middle, that's okay, but you won't get as many crowns as if you have the middle completely blank. When you get crowns, you can spend crowns on preparations, which we don't have any at the moment. But you can spend them, and that'll affect the final fight, basically. And you'll get bonus crowns and bonus passive money from it. Etc., etc. Now, a typical decision would go something like this, right? So the King's Dilemma. Go to Torque. High Commander has received a message from the soldiers stationed at the troublesome northern border of the Mark of Torque. Excuse me. This hurts your throat after a while. After near constant reading for 4 hours and just kind of talking a lot, your throat kind of starts to hurt after a while, not gonna lie. Especially if you keep forgetting to take your sips. Scram smugglers are offering to provide us large quantities of red iron, a strange metal that can break even strongest steel. The army wants the majority of it, but there is a lot of money to be made by trading it. Do we reserve the red iron, a strong metal, for the army? Now, see, everybody is voting aye to this, so it's a very easy thing to do. I can pick aye, and then the influence will go up. Or I can pick nay. In this case, it would cost me 4 power points, which is half of what I have, but it would make my money go up instead. And it would make these other houses get a bit more pissed off at me for disagreeing with them. If I agree with them, they'll like me a little bit more. And then, you know, you do that, so say we're like, okay, yeah, I will do that. A strong economy requires a strong army to protect it. The High Commander contacts the smugglers to establish the operation. A steady flow of red iron from the mostly unexplored lands of the Fuar Mountains is supplied directly to the smiths of the army, with only a little remaining for our merchants. So you get another cool image. To thank the king for the prosperous business, the smugglers gift him a masterful red iron sword named the Scarlet Tide. The army soon elects the blade as its symbol and as a sign of its future power. A significant portion of the imported red iron starts flowing towards the royal armory, and military smiths begin experimenting with new ways of working with the sturdy metal. Because of its exceptional sturdiness, red iron is difficult to mold into weapons and armor, but a few blades are forged for the most elite regiments. And then this fills up, and when the eclipse fully happens, with all of the black engulfing the circle, like the whole circle, then the end begins, and then you got to go through what you saw me go through when you first came here. And then you'll get, okay, well, sometimes you'll also get something called a Chronicle, which is kind of like a passive buff or a negative to your resources over here. It's really good. It's really neat. It's really intriguing. Highly recommend it. $20 on Steam. Play through it yourself and have a good time. Right? I don't really see a need personally to do at least more than 2 streams of this, which is why this is going to be the last stream that I do of the game. But let's go ahead and see what happens if we fail in the final fight as a traitor, because I'm curious what'll happen. So let's pick all the wrong decisions this time. The loyalist troops reunited in the courtyard in front of the High Commander are visibly nervous due to the imminent attacks. Moreover, the generals are concerned that fake news could start spreading through the troops. Shall we create chaos? Already in chat. Anyway, so we'll say nay this time because I want to fail, so nay. The High Commander gives an encouraging speech that raises the troops' morale. A war cry echoes across the courtyard. The troops are ready for battle. There's a turmoil inside the castle. The loyalist High Commander struggles to calm the people down. Despite the safety measures, this is a golden opportunity to sneak inside the royal treasure room. Should we attempt to steal the royal treasure? So I'll say no, because I want to fail this. Intimidated by the safety mechanisms, we abandon the idea of stealing the royal treasure. We are left to wonder if all that gold is still there for the taking, especially with all the turmoil inside the walls. Several trade guilds, worried about the impact of the rebellion on their businesses, have set up a safe trading route with the help of the loyalist army, which ensures that merchants can conduct their business safely. This could mean a constant resupply of primary goods. However, as a result, the defenses in Libra are weaker. Should we disrupt the safe trade route? Now this time we'll say aye. During the night, we send a team to destroy the bridge in Libra's port. This significantly slows down the transportation of goods from the northeast, as the merchants will now have to go further south towards the Golden Bridge. However, this cannot be considered a complete success. The troops assigned to the trade route are going back to Libra. Our informants tell us that the Royal Guard has strengthened their defensive forces with thousands of mercenaries. We could disguise a messenger as a merchant and ask Kasuk to lend us some of their in-call mercenaries, even if it is a desperate call for help. Do we send a merchant to Kasuk? You know what? I'll say nay this time. Or do I say aye? No, I'll say nay this time because I want to see the difference. I want to see differences, even if it's good for me. The Merchants Guild of Kasuk holds great power in its empire, and they surely still value how Ankist handled the incident with Hysadora, which is something that happened earlier, which I guess has a pretty big impact to how this plays out. Requesting their help would be a waste of precious time. We have no choice but to rely on our own strength to launch the assault. The miasma. Some soldiers are contracting a strange disease. Large blisters appear on their limbs, and most of them die shortly after. Most doctors recommend we quarantine the infected, but the Black Dawn has another plan. Do we use them to infect the enemy? I'll say nay, just to see what the difference is. The plan is as crazy as it is ruthless. The infection could spread uncontrollably, even among our ranks. We decide to quarantine the infected inside a delimited area of the city. Most of them die after a couple of days, but some manage to recover. Most importantly, we keep the infection rate under control. Some miners reportedly found a map of all the tunnels dug below the royal capital. At first look, it seems like a rough sketch. It's full of lines of different colors and thickness, but the scholars think it could be the key to finding a secret passage. Do we study the paper? So, nay is the good answer, so we'll say aye. After days of study, mostly looking at the paper, we conclude that it must be a color experiment by a nomad kid that remotely resembles some sort of map. We should focus on devising an actual attack plan instead of relying on some mysterious maps. In preparation for the upcoming battles, the counselor, reminds us the necessity to hire mercenaries, as we can't rely on regular army. We need gold. An alchemist from Wyleo suggests using wounded soldiers as our main source. Do we sacrifice the wounded soldiers? I think I said aye before, so I'll say nay this time. Puzzled, the alchemist respects our decision. Over the next few days, wounded soldiers are treated by elite doctors, draining our actual reserve of gold. Meanwhile, the alchemist is nowhere to be found. Phase 2. Our scouts discovered that the southeast tower is an old structure with a frame mostly made out of wood. There's a chance to start a fire, but the strong wind could be a problem. Do we torch the tower? We will say nay. We fear that the fire could easily get out of control, damaging both factions equally. The wind eventually stops, but it's too late. The enemy discovered the weakness and is now protecting the tower with all they have. We are attacking Libra's front gates. A troop is maneuvering the battering ram within the enemy's range. There are enough men to support it, but we could use some of them to gather more units and launch a surprise attack. Use the battering ram as gate and split the unit? Nay. The battering ram is our best chance. The platoon reaches the siege unit in need, and together they manage to take down the front gates. However, the enemy is waiting inside, and we don't have enough men. Our strategist recommends sending a messenger to the Inkal camp just outside the walls to inform them about a hypothetical conspiracy between Sidlada and Libra's loyalists against the Inkali population. They're renowned as fearsome and proud warriors, so we have to be careful to choose who we send and how we do it. Do we equip the negotiating unit with extra red iron protections? Aye. Bad answer it is. Better safe than sorry. The group reinforced with red iron sets out to the Inkali camp. Regrettably, that is the last time we see them. Days later, outside the camp, their heads are displayed on a pike near a pile of bodies. Our overly cautious approach must have put them on edge. We are starting to climb the walls. We have an innovative device called the ladder tunnel that allows us to climb walls while being protected in every direction. An alarm suddenly echoes in the night. The enemy is starting to pour hot liquids from the maculations, whatever, on the wall. Do we keep climbing? Okay, I will sacrifice my people this time, yes. Hot oil drips down the castle's walls. Our ladders may protect us from falling barrels, but they are useless against liquids. One by one, the climbing troops fall to the ground with their skin burnt and their armor melted. We are losing too many, so we retreat to the forest nearby. Enemy soldiers on the wall are throwing rocks and arrows down into the ditch. Thankfully, our shields offer enough protection against these attacks. Just when we are ready to activate the advanced machine ladders, a unit stationed near the gate reports that there are fewer enemies than expected there. Should we focus on the gate instead? Aye, this time we shall. The enemy left the gate unguarded. We start moving the majority of our soldiers to the gate. When our men arrive at the gate, we realize we fell right into their trap. A massive defensive force emerges from the gate. They were waiting for us inside. A council of war has been declared. Our spy inside the castle claims to have seen a protected room in the northeast tower where the Chamberlain, the Royal Marshal, and the Vice Commander usually meet. The Chamberlain seems to be the most vulnerable, but he's oddly wearing reinforced mail. Do we target the Chamberlain? This time we say nay. They can't fool us. Thanks to the detailed information left by our spy, the assassin manages to get inside the room easily. As expected, the Chamberlain is well protected, so he sticks to the plan. The assassin jumps from the large table in the center of the room and stabs the Vice Commander. Before the Royal Marshal can react, our man is gone. Enemy archers forced us to take cover behind the ruins of a building not far from the beacon tower. The general wants to rush the tower before the enemy activates it, but we'd be exposed to the arrows of the enemy. Do we wait until the enemy stops shooting arrows? Aye, this time we do. Attacking the tower head-on is too reckless. We'll wait until the enemy runs out of arrows before attacking. However, the arrows just don't stop coming. See, I knew this would be the case. Suddenly, after what seems like an eternity, the loud noise of a giant horn echoes across the streets. The enemy lit up the tower. The light of the great bonfire can be seen from miles away. Now things will get more difficult. Phase 3, the smoke phase. The castle's library holds many secrets of the kingdom, which can be sold at a high price. The library is fairly isolated and difficult to approach without raising suspicion, but a sneak attack could work. Do we send an assassin to climb the tower? This time, yes, we do. A masked assassin climbs the west tower and enters through a window. 2 throwing knives take care of the guards standing near the entrance. The librarian chancellor is silenced before she can make any noise. The secrets of Ankiss are now in our hands, including the Book of Choices. Really? We got the Book of Choices out of that. Our scouts have noticed that the enemy has started to retrieve the bodies of their officers from the battlefield outside the castle. It seems they're using the embroidered names on the uniforms to recognize the officers. Do we loot the officers? This time we say nay. Even if we are enemies, we will show respect for the dead. We will remain on patrol and let the enemy retrieve the bodies of their fallen comrades. The right thing to do, yes. The dumb move to do, though, yes. Also. Doctors of Alwyn from the Great Hospital offer us a group of loyalist subjects that seem to be in a catatonic state and respond to any orders given to them. The Black Dawn demands to use them as mules, but the doctors suggest filling their stomachs with onyx powder. Do we use them as a suicidal unit? I think I said aye before, so I'll say nay this time. Cruelty is not in our nature. The subjects will serve as mules for our troops, carrying weapons and transporting wounded soldiers to the med camp. The loyalist subjects' eyes show gratitude, in a way. Even if famous for their self-concern, Dualac offers all their soldiers to the cause. Their hate of the king's bloodline makes them unstoppable against the loyalists, but they express a preference to join the attack on the royal apartment. They seem to be moved by something. Do we fulfill their request? This time, nay. They nodded our denial, and we should have expected the outcome. The soldiers from Dualac reached the royal apartment in support, even though not requested to. Later, we found out that nothing was touched by them except for a cube-shaped object placed near the king's bed. See, I want to know more about that. I feel like there's a lore there. During the assault on the castle, a rational general from Kodan proposes targeting the tabernacle of the Mother. She's sure that if it is taken down, the foe's morale will be greatly reduced. Shall we destroy the tabernacle? This time, nay. We have better to do. The tabernacle is a symbol of power and trickery. It reminds us the general before breaking the ranks. What? Okay. We call her name, but in vain. He strikes a blow at Rhea's neck, then the loyalist impaled with their blade. Okay. I feel like that one was maybe written a bit weird. Maybe translated a bit off. I'm not too sure. Scholars from Gamam affirm that during the stay of Celestina, they came to know a part of the immortality ritual called infection. This fishy process will take control of a hollow puppet that doesn't feel pain or hunger. All they need is 8 young women, and there is no shortage of them in Libra. Do we refuse to kidnap the young woman? This time we'll say aye. The attempt by Celestina to establish a theocracy was horrendous. Scholars from Gamam are known for their intelligence, so they're assigned to help with the logistics of the troops instead. They don't seem happy. And there you go, we lose. The Loyalists won the battle. All threats against the loyal council members are disarmed by the heroic acts of trusty individuals. These events could not be possible without the wise rule of an enlightened council. There lies the true strength of Ankist, and so it continues to be even in this time of greatest need, as the strongest houses stand together to stem the tide of chaos that swept through the kingdom and fend off the betraying forces. The loyalty of the people has ultimately overwhelmed the Black Dawn's attempts to bring disruption and chaos into the ranks of the kingdom, to divide and conquer the defense forces. Despite the disarray of the city guards and the army, paralyzed by the severed communications and weakened by the defection of many traitors and the murder of numerous strategic figures, the guards of the loyal houses remain relatively unscathed. The loyalist forces, coordinated by the honorable houses, began marching through the streets of Libra in an attempt to restore a semblance of order. Any conspirator, masked or not, that is found by the defense forces of the kingdom is executed on the spot. Particularly cruel is the fate of the betraying houses who align themselves with the forces of Dusk. Most of the traitors are put to death, while their descendants are blinded by fire and stripped of their title and all of their possessions. The council itself has been purged of those who sought to undermine its authority. Your land is disowned and erased from the maps of the kingdom. These territories will be split equally between loyalist forces. And then that's the end if you lose as a traitor. So I wonder what other things can happen. So it seems like so the game can change, but it mostly seems like it's near the end where it can change, which is interesting. So once again, I'm probably only gonna do 2 streams of this game. I don't really see a need to play through again since, well, not on stream. I'll probably play more on my own, to be fair. But I don't really think there's much need to play through it and get literally every single piece of new dialogue, because that would be really hard to do. That would be a lot of time spent, which I am not prepared for, to be honest. So yeah, I guess that is it for the stream for today. So once again, on Wednesday, so we're ending a little bit early, like half an hour early, really, not too early. So on Wednesday, we start up Resident Evil 0, which is going to be really fun. 0, then we can go through Outbreak 2, and then finally Resident Evil 4 in preparation for the remake coming out in just a little over a month. So I'm excited. I'm going to be really happy to get back to Resident Evil and just kind of marathon through the rest of it, really. Maybe take a break after 4, but I at least want to finish up 4 before I start up really anything else. But I'm really excited and really happy. I'm really, really looking forward to it. As much as I would love to stream on the weekend, I don't think that's going to happen. Just because I need to head out and I need to do stuff and I need to... It's going to be a relatively busy weekend for me. So I will probably not be doing that on the weekend as much as I would like to. Let's go ahead and send a raid over to... It's like 2 people that I think would be good. I'm gonna go ahead and send it over to Mortish Noir, who is a very, very cool VTuber. Playing Devour, looks to be along with Bricker Boom, who is another really, really cool person. So we're gonna send it over their way. Since I haven't actually raided Mortish in such a long time, I think it's well worth it, well deserved. All right, so feel free to give her a nice frag raid. I will be over there as well for a little bit until I probably, well, take a break, maybe go get some food. You know, the usual stuff, right? So be excited for Wednesday, my friends. It's gonna be really, really fun. You know what? Maybe not on the weekend, but I might try to get a stream going on Monday or Tuesday. Ooh, I might, you know, I might do that. Because that would be fun. That would be fun. We'll see. Maybe expect to stream on Monday or Tuesday, but I'll think about it. I'll think about it a little bit. I'll see what else I'm doing. But I should be able to do one on either Monday or Tuesday, or maybe both days. We'll see. We'll see. I'll let you guys know. I'll update you guys on the Discord and all of that. I'll update you guys on Twitter, on Discord, etc., etc. For now, though, I guess that is it. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending today. I hope you all enjoyed. I certainly did. And if you want, like I said, check out the YouTube channel. There's a lot of demos up at the moment. And maybe you'll find something cool to watch there. All right, for now, though, it's time to cue the outro. Here I go, and I will catch you guys on Monday, Tuesday, but for sure Wednesday.